Aloha, Mariana here with you. If I don't have the pleasure of knowing you already, my name is Mariana Dugast, and I do a couple of things. I am a teacher for IZI LLC for Hooponopono, and I also have my own company and my own teachings. And so right here and now, I am here in the capacity of teacher for IZI, and I'm here because I have some classes coming up, and I'm getting some emails with questions that I thought I'd do a little video that you can watch and answer some of these questions to make things easy for you. So first of all, if you're not altogether familiar with Ho'oponopono, or if you have an idea and maybe it's not exactly how it is, Ho'oponopono is a problem-solving process, which is an updated Hawaiian process that was inspired into creation through Mona Nalamaku Simeona, who was a kahuna lapau, which is a healer, a Hawaiian healer, and she was a teacher, and she got given everything that we study for these 2 days while she was on the beach. One day she heard divine intelligence, divinity say, prostrate yourself to the ground, and I'm going to give you a method. This is what we study. Ho'oponopono is an ancient Hawaiian system. The updated self-identity through Ho'oponopono is what we study. And very often people write, or I come across people who say they know what the Ho'oponopono is because maybe they're doing the I love you and thank you. And so maybe they don't understand the use of the course. And let me tell you, this is actually very different from that. I love you and thank you are some of the tools. We have 69 cleaning tools altogether throughout the weekend, and the whole promise of Ho'oponopono is about a daily practice. Again, it's going to work if you're using it. If you don't use it, it won't work. It's that simple. Even if the mind says, I know what that is, but you don't practice, it's just not going to happen, because that's just how it works. So what we learn during the 2 days is a particular clearing process, and there are some things that happen while we're together in the class that even in reading, if you maybe read Zero Limits or something, is not at all included in the book, because some of the teaching is passed on while you're in the course with us, and it is sacred, and so we're happy to share it with you if you feel this is for you at some point. The idea of the Ho'oponopono is to really understand who we are, why we're here, what problems are exactly, where the problems come from, and how to solve problems. And this is invaluable whether you're looking at it from a personal freedom point of view, or maybe it's a health problem, relationship problem, or business problem, career problem, etc. Or maybe it's not even a problem, but there's a shift oncoming and you need to be able to be closer connected to your source of inspiration, to the source of inspiration, which cannot happen if the mind, the ego, the intellect is gripping your mind as an overall. And this is what the whole world suffers from, is this egotistical stage of thinking it knows what's going on. So the mind, or we're talking here about the intellect or the ego, has always been run by information, and it thinks, because it is ego edging God out, that it knows how things go, and that it can create things of its own. It cannot. It's only a receptor of information, and it's only going to be any good and be imbued or be steeped in inspiration if it can let go, actually. So it's a very humbling experience to really understand finally who you really are and how you really function, and to see how often we are in the grip of criticizing, judging, comparing, gossiping, chatting about things that's just an extension of ourselves. And we look at the world thinking we see the world as it is, but it's not at all. We see the world as we are. And so this is how we express ourselves until we know that it's time to take responsibility and learn to let go through practice. And so this is very much the essence of the Ho'oponopono. So it's useful for anything that ever happened in the family lineage, and that can be newly created lineage, or it's probably ancient ancestral lineage. For some people, it's health. There's been some things in the family that do keep replicating. We're talking about heart attacks, we're talking about cancers, we're talking about Alzheimer's or anything like that, that keeps replicating until somebody's willing to do the cleaning on the lineage. And of course, that could be any of you watching. I've certainly have done my fair share of cleaning and still do. Excuse me, I have the same mind as everybody else until I remember I've got these amazing tools and I can set myself free of just any situation, really, if I'll just remember that I would rather be guided by inspiration than driven by the intellect that keeps everything tightly closed and keeps life, small and predictable. And really, the whole Ho'oponopono is about living in inspiration. Inspiration is already in you. It's already driving your biology. It's beating your heart. It's doing millions of things for you that you don't even know. So if the idea is to live in inspiration, to be guided, to know what to do, to feel the internal security that comes from being connected with divine intelligence or divinity. 24/7, it's there for you. So this is what we learn how to do over the weekend. And there's also, people are asking, because they're considering, we've got 3 classes. There's a basic one, there's a health class, and there's a business class. Then there's a basic 2, but that's for later. You can do the basic 2 once you've been practicing for 2 years. So I'm only talking about the first 3 initial classes for now. You can do any of them in order, or just one of them if you want to. You don't have to, there isn't one you have to do before the other, etc. I often get asked as well, what's the difference between them? The basis of the teaching is the same. So we have the same 69 tools, we have the same 12-step process, we have all of that. And for the business and the health, what is different is a particular questionnaire that we do with I'll just read you a little bit about, actually, it's just on the flyer because it'll explain that better than I could. And it's by the end of the training, student will begin to know and appreciate who they really are, learn how to care for self and protect self, learn what a problem is and how to solve it, learn to only look to self and the divine creator, begin to know and appreciate the divine creator, and begin to experience love beyond all understanding. Some of the problem areas covered in the training include self, spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical, family, relative, and ancestors, conception, abortions, miscarriages, and suicides, death and dying, finances, work and school, earthbound spirits and space entities, land and buildings, objects, etc. So there's actually quite a lot of information on the flyer, and there's also a lot of information at the website on the basis of what we study over the weekend. I think that's everything. I'm just trying to think now the questions I got in the past few days. So some of you are asking, is it better to do, one or another? I can't really help you with that. You have to go with your own inspiration, not what the mind says. Difficult maybe, but to go with your own inspiration. So it's just a case of, being quiet enough, letting go of the mind that thinks it knows. The mind is only run by information most of the time, programming, and there's plenty of programming going on at the moment, has always been, and that is best not replayed on and on in the mind. And after that, you're going to know, based on what I've just said to you today, you'll be able to choose what class is best for you. If you're reading the, sorry, if you're listening to this and now we're in summer 2021, I'm a part of a big teaching group. There's lots of teachers in lots of different countries. And so you can browse the website and you will see, depending on where you are in the world, one that suits you. The classes are put out kind of 3 months ahead, mostly, so every quarter. So new classes come up every 3 months, basically. So if you're looking at this later and you've passed, I have a class coming up in June, the basic one. There's one in July, that's a business class, and I will do another couple of classes, but they get announced later in the year. That's it, really. You can contact, well, if you're watching this, it's because I've already sent it to you, so there's no problem. You can download the flyer at the IZI LLC workshop website, sorry, or you can just get in touch with me, info@drdugast.com, and I would be pleased to assist you further. Thank you very much. Aloha. Have a good day. Bye for now.